Valentia stalked through the woods, leaves falling around her, brown and dead. It was cold this far north, this high in the mountains, a cold that inspired winds to bite through her leather coat and tear at her tall, broad-brimmed hat. The crossbow she held was already loaded. She couldn't risk the sound of the string or wood when she would need it next. The sun, a black void rimmed in fire, was setting, leaving its golden rays to guide her with long shadows. Valentia was close. She could hear the shouting of men in the distance, their foreign tongues' meanings lost to the wind. She would get one shot. Her heart pounded as she drew closer, stepping on rocks and sturdy branches to avoid the dry leaves. Firelight fought the sun, creating twin, dull shadows, slowly growing blacker as Valentia crept closer. She could see them now, big, brutish men with black chain tattoos wrapping around their arms. Equipped with blade, spear, axe, and hammer, they wore loincloths and heavy boots, displaying their hairy chests. But none amongst them were what she was looking for, so she crouched low behind a log and waited. It was a long hour she stayed perfectly still as blackness swallowed her. It appeared, emerging from a tent. The grotesque feminine creature bore horns where it should have had eyes, and living flesh where it should have had cloth. It moved with an unnatural grace, so smoothly as to be like wind. Valentia shifted for the first time in what seemed like forever. The crossbow thrummed as its trigger was pulled, the broad-headed bolt singing through the air before embedding itself in the neck of the demon. There was a moment of still surprise as gore washed over the monster's bare, all too human chest. It raised a hand, its expression dampened but not denied by its lack of properly placed eyes. Valentia pushed down welling joy as the demon collapsed to the ground, and she ran into the night. In a small town named Bivio, located within northern Tandem, odd strangers arrive. People with their own reasons to dive far into the north. Like many travelers, they find themselves at the Elkwood Inn, ordering hot food and good drink after their long journey here. For introductions, the player characters are Dogman, with a wolf named Charlotte and a dog named Samwise. Mollara, who's a plague doctor. Alyssies is a drunkard. And Johnathan, a silent nobleman. Each arrive here at the small town of Bivio on their way to the city Immortus, each not knowing that they share a destination. While settling down in the inn, a few men with strangely scarred skin emerge from the first floor rooms, stretching and rubbing sleep from their eyes, despite the late time of day. They are squires of the Ministry of the Midnight Watch, the military wing of the church. These skilled warriors may be passing through, or are here as guards against the dark things in the night. Dogman has only heard of them from rumor, but Alyssies, Mollara, and Johnathan are locals. Dogman approaches them and asks some questions.
Hello, I am Dogman, at least in your language. You?
Sean. Strange to see your kind here, this far inland and all. What brings you?
I am going to grandma and sister in Immortus. Done with pirate life. What brings you?
Sean's eyes wander to follow a maid across the room. A sly grin plays on his lips. Reports say an unusual number of footprints in the area. Enough for a big raiding force of Northmen or shamblers. But really, it could be anything. He looks over his shoulder before looking at his companions. Liber won't like me telling you, but we've seen some awfully big footprints outside. The grin slits his face as he calls the maid over. You could press Liber for more, but the man's a bit stiff to work with. Dogman thanks the squire for the information before attempting to talk to Liber. None of your business, Kraken man. Dogman presses, but to no avail. Dogman retires to his own room, followed shortly by the rest of the PCs. Alyssies goes a little drunk. They awake to a thundering crash and the crackle of splintering wood. The PCs descend from the second floor rooms to find the first floor empty and dark. The doors shake, splintering, and burst open. A hulking shambler stumbles into the room from the front door. Roll for initiative. The party takes cover behind the bar as Charlotte pounces on the brute, setting up Dogman's parry technique. The side door splinters and more shamblers pour into the room. Mollara lifts a barrel as Johnathan commands Alyssies to cover Mollara, pegging a hobbling shambler that leaks vile, chunky liquid on the ground. It stumbles, but does not die, spewing its acidic vomit on the bar, disintegrating wood and spreading putrid smoke into the air. Alyssies hears thudding in the back room and goes to see the back door splintering. The brute, slowed by Charlotte, stumbles forward. Mollara tosses the barrel over the bar into the charging mob of shamblers. Limbs are crushed and rotting bile leaks around the shattered wood. Dogman vaults over the bar and charges the brute. The creature takes a blow on its chest, its rotting face slowly turning to slobber at the Krakenmen. We got shamblers in the back, calls Alyssies as she fires her crossbow. Dogman parries the zombie brute's blow, causing it to glance. Alyssies kills one of the shamblers, battering the back door. The wood holds as the last walking corpse tries to push through, reaching desperately for Alyssies. Mollara is struck by acidic vomit from the venom spewer before Johnathan helps her kill it. Dogman takes out the brute, and the last shambler dies before ever entering the inn. Vials are uncorked, and rotting blood collected. The vial can collect blood and is used to heal injuries and damage. The more powerful the foe, the more HP the blood recovers. The brute's heart is taken from its chest. A strange, twisting bone pierces the enlarged muscle. Someday, it will become a Koem's heart, a trophy that grants HP. Lighting torches, Johnathan and Dogman leave the cover of the inn. Dogman makes his way towards the church, drawn by the sounds of battle and the dance of men over flickering torches on the northern bank. Johnathan is charged from the dark by a zombie brute. Bones crack under the weight of its crude club, leaving Johnathan limping on a broken leg. Shamblers emerge from the shadows, only to be intercepted by Mollara dashing from the tavern. Dogman blocks the brute as Johnathan retreats. Obnoxious cawing drives the undead into a frenzy. Using a torch, Dogman gets Samwise to reveal a large, black bird that clutches onto the shoulders of a shambler. It pecks at the shambler's brain, directing it and screeching at the other undead. When Alyssies attacks the bird, it ducks behind the undead it clings to, but Alyssies is a ranged support and ignores cover granted by creatures. Damaged, the bird flees into the shadows. With its absence, the rest of the undead are dispatched with relative ease. The brute's blood is used to heal Jonathan's broken leg, and most end the battle with good HP and/or a full vial. The squires approach from the north. Sean, laughing and smirking with Quad, Liber stalks ahead of them. Seeing the party, Liber snaps. You are commended for your aid, witch hunters. Return to your rest and leave the rest to the professionals. Dogman interjects and Sean covers for him. It takes little reason to push Liber to give the strangers a break. Approaching the outer wall of the town, the PCs find the broken remains of the gates, along with half-consumed guard corpses. Large wedges are torn from the huge wooden doors, wood splintered by a massive axe and shoved inward. Footprints as broad as 3 men's and half a foot longer can be found, trekking back over the river. The PCs return within the inn to reclaim what little sleep they can. However, Mollara lies awake. She hears the sound of a distant lullaby, the eerie tune boring its way into mind and heart. The undead corpses burn in the light of day, leaving twisted, warped bones and ash. The PCs spend the next day helping organize the defenses of the town, building spiked barricades and ushering the people into the thick-doored church and the mayor's manor. As night falls, the players wait at the southern bridge, and the squires hold the northern one. Waiting in the frigid cold for the rotting forms of shamblers, sweat rolls down faces and is stolen by cold winds. Feet shuffle and eyes widen, straining against the darkness. Slow, sloppy steps are heard as the shadows stretch over stumbling corpses, only to release them into the torchlight, revealing their ghastly, oozing, degraded bodies. It was going to be a long night. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that cursed little bell, and I hope to see you around my campfire again.